Suki Hotu to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today, moving around or walking, Nisin, sitting down, Sayanova, lying down. So any of these four postures. But if you are combining this practice with Anapanasati, mindfulness and breathing in and out, then it is recommended for you to sit upright. So, bring your attention close to your hearts and observe a sense of calm and quietness. Just remain in this state of calm and quietness for a few moments, with clear sense of awareness. Whatever phenomena that arises, the sounds that you hear, feeling, sensation that arises, you have clear awareness of them. Your mind is not disturbed, not distracted. In this state of calm and quietness, you will commence with the practice of metta, of loving kindness, wishing yourselves to be well and happy. As you wish yourselves well and happy, feel a sense of well-being and keep a smile in your hearts. Hatred and grudges, free from sufferings, from fear. Just as you wish around you, feel the calm, the quietness within, radiating above, below, and all around you. Feel the whole space around you, whether in your room, at work, or anywhere. Just all the space around you. Just spread out your aura of calm and peace, and the good wish in your hearts that all who are present be well and happy. Kindness to the whole building, your whole house, reaching out to the whole country, and beyond this country, to all the neighboring countries, all the neighboring islands, covering the whole world, and all the realms of existence, known or unknown to us, seen or unseen, that may all beings be well and happy. All beings be well and happy. Just spend a few moments in the quietness of your minds. Whoever that comes to your mind, just have the good wish. May they be well and happy. And fill your hearts with pure love and compassion. cherish the good wish that all suffering beings be free from suffering. Those in sorrow be free from sorrow. May they be well and happy. Let all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now on the subject of fear and worry. The last few minutes that you were doing your meditation or metta, did you have fear? Did you have worry? The chances are, when you are doing loving kindness and you're spreading loving kindness all around you, and you feel the calm and quietness within, there is no worry, there's no fear. So you have the answer. But the problem is this: the tendencies, our tendency to fear, worry, is so strong. It has become a habit. And this habit pattern is actually linked, tied up to our craving, our attachment. So the more craving, the more attachment we have, the more worry, the more fear and worry we will have. But those people who have less craving, less attachment, and they have less fear, less worry. So that's important to understand. Yeah. But fear and worry is very common. It's a common phenomenon. Before I go on to my talk, I would like to share with you a little experience of mine, how I encountered for the first time in my life isolation. And I could see the fear and worry so clearly. That was some years ago. I arrived just before the rains retreat. And that evening, it was raining. It was pouring rain. But the monks and novices there were very... Then, took me to one place. I had some drink. And then after that, somebody escorted me to my hut, my little meditation hut or kuti. That kuti was about 5 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet. And there were no doors. There was an opening, but no, you cannot close the door. And the window, there's also an opening and you can't close it. So, when I arrived there, and my belongings were not with me, because some other monks or novices had taken it, and I could not speak a single word of Thai. And the people there also could not speak English. So what happened was, I was very scared. And a totally new environment, and this kuti, this hut was... But just then, I remembered, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. I started to pay homage to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And then I recited Itipiso Bhagavad. Then I went on to recite the Metta Sutta. I recited aloud, and that helped me to overcome fear. Then my mind started to become silent and quiet. And it was just then that my belongings came, my luggage and my bags and other things arrived. So that was my first experience. So like this, I have encountered many other experiences in Thailand, in Burma, in Sri Lanka, in India, wherever I go to practice. Some form of how this fear and worry, I was able to overcome it. I did it actually through refuge, going for refuge in the Triple Gem, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. I strongly recommend all of you, if you have fear and worry and anxiety, this practice of refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and Metta is very, very useful. Of course, there are also some mantras that you can learn to recite. In the forest, the mantra was Buddho, 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 Buddho. Everything, when there's fear, when there's anything, Buddho, 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 and the fear will be gone. Yeah. But there are other, according to your affinity, whatever tradition that you follow, they may have some affinities. So you may have, because mantras is actually for the purpose of protection, to protect your mind. To protect your mind from dispersing, from going away here and there. Yeah? So, these are just little tools that you can learn how to face, encounter this thing. But what I would like to talk to you about today is, one is long-term solution, and there's short-term solution. I know most people would like to have a quick fix. They want short-term solution, quickly. But the long-term solution is very important, because this fear and worry has been there. It has been there all the time. Yeah. Even before this pandemic outbreak of COVID-19 virus, I'm sure you all have experienced fear and worry. But because to socialize, to go and eat, hawker centers and whatever it is, yeah, you were able to distract yourself from the restlessness, from the worries that you have. Some people even drink, they smoke away. Yeah. And that is how they are not so aware. They are not so aware of that fear and worry. But now, with the current situation, where this outbreak, this pandemic outbreak, has spread out throughout the world, and there's shutdown or lockdown everywhere, and most people are asked to stay at home, confine themselves into a limited space. But they also have other family members at home. Yeah. So there is a lot of activities that goes on in the mind. Yeah. And not only that, constantly they'll be thinking, when is this pandemic going to end? And so the worry goes on. Yeah. But even when this pandemic is over, fear and worry will still be there. And that is why you need to make good use of this opportunity. It is during this period of crisis that there is this heightened awareness. Suddenly you become aware there is this fear, this worry, and this fear and worry is connected to your own craving, your own clinging and attachments. Attachment to yourself, your own self, attachment to things around you, attachment to people around you, your loved ones. And that's how the fear and worry comes. So what I'm going to tell you now first is the long-term solution. The long-term solution to overcome that craving and attachment. And that, as most of you would already know, according to what the Buddha taught the way how to overcome suffering. Not only fear and worry, all kinds of other manifestations of suffering. Right understanding, right thoughts, right speech, right body action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These are 8 things. Now, there's not much time for me to go into the details, but there's ample materials that you can read about this. But what I'm going to highlight is this: the training. Traditionally, we train ourselves in the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. We speak of 3 things, 3 stages of training: Sila, Samadhi, Panya. 3 things. There is train in our speech. That means we avoid wrong speech and dividing people. Then we speak in such a way that we unify, we bring people together. Instead of harsh language, we speak politely, kindly, courteously. Yeah. And in terms of livelihood, this is something I'd like to highlight a little bit, because the problem that we are faced today is about wrong livelihood. Right livelihood is a livelihood, the livelihood that you earn, whether humans or non-humans, animals, without cheating, without lying, without causing this. But what has happened today is this, that the livelihood that people have, for the 5 things, there are 5 kind of trade when people indulge in. It gives suffering to others. But the characteristic of this, they can earn a lot of money, but it gives a lot of suffering to others. And the suffering that gives to others, according to the law of cause and effect, what goes around comes around. That suffering will naturally get some occupation, some livelihood. that is considered not right. One is this: production and sales of armaments, weapons to kill beings, to destroy this whole earth, this whole planet, several times. Then, and you know there's so much of poisons around. When they do farming, they kill so many things, pesticides and all that. And the third one is production and sales of intoxicants that causes one to lose control of one's mind. Yeah. And you can see there's so much breweries around in the world. Yeah. Then fourthly, there is slave trade. Although we use a slave trade, but today we are seeing, right, and little boys, little girls are taken away, yeah, and sold away. And there's so much of prostitution and other things going on. All these things comes under slave trade. Then there is what you call production, the bringing up of animals and selling for slaughter. This is another livelihood that is causing so much of suffering. Yeah. Now I'd like to highlight to you, I got a little bit of statistics here, just for you to become aware the number of animals that are slaughtered each year. The source is from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. And in 2018, that's 2 years ago, in Australia, the number of chickens that are being slaughtered is 635,865,000. 635 million chickens are being slaughtered. 790 chickens. Now, these chickens, if they are allowed to live the normal life, they have a lifespan of 7 to 8 years. But when they bring out this chicken for meat in a farm, they hardly live for 4 to 6 weeks, and in some places a little bit more. But 4 to 6 weeks life. This is a great deprivation of life. Then there are cows, people who kill and eat cows. In Australia, 7 million over cows, 7,913,000. And these cows have a lifespan of 25 years, but they are slaughtered when they are 18 months old. So this is what we call untimely death. When this kind of activities goes around in the world, unchecked, what happens is that the destructive emotions within ourselves, these things are reflected outside. And therefore it comes back to us in various destructive ways. So this is livelihood. It's actions that are free from killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. Instead, you respect the sanctity of living beings. And instead of stealing, you respect the rights of ownership. Instead of sexual misconduct, we should practice sense restraint, and we do not disturb established relationships of others. Now these three, when we practice and put them into practice, what happens? we restrain our speech and body action. Then the tendencies of greed, the tendencies of hatred and delusion, they cannot manifest in our speech and body action. So they don't transgress, there's no transgression. It doesn't hurt ourselves, doesn't hurt others. But when we violate, when we have wrong thoughts, wrong speech, wrong body action, wrong livelihood, then the greed, hatred, delusion begins to grow more and more. So this is what, in fact, all the 8 path factors, the Noble Eightfold Path, the aim is just one thing. It is to purify the mind. To purify the mind from the tendencies. These 3 things, the first 3 things. Then after that, you have right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. When we talk about right effort, there are 4 kinds, the 4-fold. It's with regards to avoiding the bad thoughts and cultivating the good thoughts. So the first 2 effort is actually to avoid having wrong thoughts, bad thoughts. But if you can't, somehow some bad thoughts arise, then it is important for you to make effort to overcome it. And the third effort is to cultivate good thoughts, good states of mind, like the cultivation of metta, loving kindness. It is good effort. And once you have cultivated this good state of mind, then you have to make effort to maintain it. These are the 4 efforts. And that is why when you practice metta, it's not just once a day. Right? During this period, when you have a little bit more time, it is good that you practice at least twice a day, morning and evening. Traditionally, people will practice during sunrise, around sunrise and sunset. So, when you practice that, and in between, you practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is about what? There are 4 foundations of mindfulness. Mindfulness on body, mindfulness on feelings, mindfulness on the mind, the state of mind, your state of mind, and mindfulness on Dharma. Yeah. This one we will need a bit longer time to explain to you. But those of you who have been in retreats and samatha vipassana retreats in various places, and you understand. So it's important to cultivate this mindfulness. Generally, you can say that if you cultivate metta, meditate metta morning and evening, and in between, during the day, just mindful of your thoughts, your speech, and your action. Because during this period, when you have to live at home with others, especially when you're living with others, your speech, your actions are very important. It can create a lot of disharmony. So that is why the restraint in speech and action. And in your mind, you need to have the wisdom, the understanding. You must be patient, exert tolerance and understanding. Then you can maintain some peace and harmony within your home. Now, so this is the long term. When you practice this, practice right speech, right body action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Right concentration is something that when you sit to concentrate, right? And in the beginning, you may experience some aches and pains and some stress and tension. But if you sit long enough and you're able to focus your attention on your breath or whatever object of meditation that you're doing, then your mind, you will find that all the aches and pains will be gone. and you will have lots of joy. You start to experience some joy and bliss that you will experience. So, while people all around you have all sorts of worries and fear, and if you practice this Dharma, you actually can experience joy and bliss at your own time. Yeah? So this is what long term, you got to do this again and again. And depending on how long this pandemic outbreak is going to last, and if it's long enough, by the time it ends, you probably gain enlightenment by then. Yeah? Anyway, now, what you call thought, right understanding, right thoughts. That is wisdom. So when this is how we practice traditionally it's explained in this term, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sila refers to right speech, right body action, right livelihood. Samadhi refers to your effort, mindfulness, and concentration. And then Panya, right understanding, right thoughts. Panya is wisdom. What is this right understanding? It's actually the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. The understanding that there is suffering, there's a cause to it, there's an end to it, and there's a way to end it. And if you have this right understanding, your fear and worries will be contained, because you know that whatever problems that you are encountered with, whatever fear, worry, the suffering that you are going through, whatever sicknesses too, you know there is a cause to it, there is an end to it, and there's a way to end it. And that way to end it is called this Noble Eightfold Path. When you have right thoughts are thoughts of letting go. When you have this thought of living a more simple and contented lifestyle, this is right thought. Then right thoughts are also thoughts that are free from anger, grudges and hatred, but overflowing with loving kindness. And the thoughts that are free from cruelty, instead thoughts of compassion. So within right thoughts alone, the three kinds of right thoughts, thoughts of renunciation or letting go, living a simple life, contented way of life, then thoughts free from anger, hatred, grudges, but flowing with loving kindness. So when you are developing loving kindness, when you are doing loving kindness meditation, you are actually arousing one element, one ingredient of wisdom mind. And when you develop compassion to wish suffering beings be free from suffering, that is also right thought, also an ingredient of wisdom. So these three things, this is the long-term investment. And if you do it little by little, then when you keep your mind more and more silent, become more and more still, then that habit tendency of your mind to create thoughts, the tendencies of clinging, grasping. Now, so that is a long-term solution, but you got to start now. And remember, it is very important, because don't think that the situation that we are faced will be the only one. There are so many other situations and that we have to face eventually. But the world is not going to end in a hurry. According to Buddhist literature, this earth will be destroyed eventually by, I heard, if I'm right, the 7 suns. But still not so many suns, not so distant. So there should be enough time for you all to start working and practicing, cultivating your mind, and strengthening your mind, then the tendencies of greed, hatred, delusion will be slowly dissolved, and that is the path of what you will that will lead you to liberation, and then you will have the knowledge, the skills to help others, to benefit others more. Now, I will talk to you a little bit about the short-term solution. It's something that you have to plan. While you are in confinement, when you are in what you call staying at home, you can still communicate through the internet, social media. You can still communicate with friends. And this is why we are encouraging you to have this kind of metta circles. Because the worry that people have is this about what? Food. Now already they start to find some difficulty in getting certain food that they want. And even after this pandemic crisis, there will be scarcity in food. And not only ones that are newly graduating from universities, they may not have job, unemployment. So these are worries that people have. Parents have these worries. And because when you have more and more young people unemployed, what you have is there will be more crimes. Then, education. Universities, colleges, schools are also shut down, locked down. Yeah. Hopefully temporarily. But actually, the real education, what is happening now in the name of education? Education has become a big business. Yeah. That is why nowadays, during this lockdown period, they are telling the students, do e-learning. Yeah. Actually, in university, most of the time you have what? The transfer of information. It is not a transfer of living. Education. The word education, educare, is to lead forth from darkness. Must have these qualities. Must be humble. Must have the quality of kindness, compassion, trustworthiness, integrity. All these qualities they have to have. But now you see there's so many young ones who are so educated, they don't really have to address themselves. So these three things, there is a fourth one. But the first three things that you would think about now is about food, about what? Employment or jobs, how to earn your living, and about education. Now, if you just put these three things together, you can't do it yourself. But it is through the circle that you create. Communal support is very important. When you have the communal support, then you harness the knowledge, the skills, the potentials of so many people, and that is when you come up with some kind of solution. How you can create employment through food production, and to employ those who are unemployed, and also in the field of education. We have to innovate various things. Then, of course, when we have this, and we have also to think about how to care for our elders, aged care. Because all these things will be creating the kind of worries and anxiety. And remember, for this, you need to have strong, wholesome, what you call communal support. The Buddha mentioned that there are 4 kinds of individuals in this world. There are those who only care for themselves, they don't care for others. There are those who only care for others, they don't care for themselves. There are others who don't care for themselves, they don't care for others. And there are those who care for themselves and care for others. Now, in this period of crisis, we need this group of people. The group of people we need to bring together, those people who care for themselves and care for others. And this is how we can help to minimize and slowly reduce that worry, the fear and worry in our minds. So there's so much I have to say, but there's one more thing, that because now that temples, religious organizations are also locked down, people cannot go out, so you have to practice on your own. And but there are so many sources now that you can build up this spiritual network. The world needs this. In the long run, we need to return to righteousness, to return to a righteous way of life. And that righteous way of life is on the basis of simple living, to live simple, with contented lifestyle, but you have high practice, you've got good practice and great realizations. So that will lead one to final liberation. And so the blessings, when there is in the teachings of the Buddha, in the Mahamangala Sutta, where the Buddha talked about life's highest blessings at different stages of life. When you live according to certain values, then you become a source of blessings. So please take this into consideration also, and there's no time for me to elaborate on this, but these are important things that you take your time now to equip yourself with these kinds of information. And for now, before we conclude, I would like to lead you all in the sharing of merits and making dedication, because remember, it's important that you, when you practice on your own, and it is good for you also to make dedications, and that is how you can seal the merits. Your merits will multiply. Yeah. So let us, before we do the dedication of merits and sharing of merits, just bring your minds within. In the calmness and the quietness of mind, just spread out loving kindness. Just have this wish that may all beings be well and happy. In your wholesome state of mind, you will share the merits with all the Dharma protectors, all the guardian deities that have been guiding and protecting you, the guardian deities of your own localities. May they rejoice in these merits. And in so rejoicing, may they also continue to grow in the Dhamma's path and gain their final liberation one day. And may they continue to bless, to protect all of you from any harm and dangers. We will also dedicate merits to all our departed relatives, teachers and friends who are no longer with us. Just think that wherever they are born, may they have opportunity to receive Dharma, to be guided, so that they'll be able to grow in the Dhamma and be free from all sufferings one day. With all your good thoughts and the merits that you have acquired on this occasion, please make your wish, make your aspiration. Make the wish, make the aspiration that all these merits will pave the way, especially your interest in the Dharma. May these merits pave the way for you to have opportunities and be able to further develop and purify your minds of anger, of aversion, hatred and grudges, and the tendencies of delusion, cultivating the qualities of generosity, loving kindness and wisdom, so that you will have the purity of mind that will give you the strength to confront and overcome whatever difficulties, whatever obstacle that may arise in your lives. That you will also grow in wisdom and compassion, be able to make good use of your lives, not only for your own happiness, but also for the welfare, for the happiness of all. And may all the merits pave the way for the seed of enlightenment to be planted in your hearts, so that at the earliest opportunity, you'll be able to walk the noble path, to be free from all sufferings one day, and also have the wisdom, the compassion to help others, whoever that comes by your way. So please make your wish, make your aspirations as we do. We invoke blessings and you all just think once again, whatever immediate problems that have arisen in your life, and whether it be your health issues, whether it be your family members, your loved ones, and relationships, whatever it is, please have faith, have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and think in this way that all these merits that you have done will pay off whatever problems, whatever difficulties that you are faced now, bringing them into the path of your practice, so that you will be able to swiftly develop your full potentials, and you will accomplish whatever that you need to accomplish in this lifetime. Please make your wish, make your aspiration, and as you make your wish and aspiration, please think of your loved ones, and please think of others, so that they too will come and will Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhatu Sabba Mangalam Rakkantu Sabba Devata Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhatu Sabba Mangalam Rakkantu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanganubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te. Let us share merits in a traditional manner. Those of you who know, please join us. Akasata ja bhummatha deva naga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chiram rakhantu loka sasanam. Akasata ja bhummatha deva naga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chiram rakhantu mang paranti. Please think of your departed relatives, teachers and friends and dedicate these merits. Idam me ñātīnāṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnāṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnāṃ hotu sukhitā ti āyu vanno sukham balam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let us pray that all the goodness, all the merits that you've done, who are on the front line to help others, and there's so much of goodness there are. So, and all this goodness, yes, and those people who are infected, may they be able to have a quick, a speedy recovery. And we pray that all of you will be blessed and keep safe. Remember, whilst we talk about all the spiritual values, you also need to look after at the physical level, the social distancing and whatever else that you need. Yeah. Remember to have the real protection. We need the physical level, we need our emotional level, our mind, mental, and the spiritual level. But above all, remember, if you have the Dhamma will protect you. Dhammo ave rakati dhammachari. Dhamma protect those who practice, those who live according to Dhamma. So, sadhu to all of you, sukhi hotu. Until we meet again, sadhu, sukhi.